Hello everybody, my name is Lakin and welcome to Shonen This Week, the show where we read all the stuff in Shonen Jump, or at least most of it. You'll have to cut me some slack because I'm trying to catch up on more stuff. I say this every week, but you know, there's new people, so it's gotta be said. We also have some stuff that's not in Shonen Jump, like Centuria, Mad, and Nippon Sangoku this week. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and rank them. I've also kind of changed our ranking here, also so I don't have to explain it. If it goes on the middle tier, that just means it's a good chapter. I enjoyed it. That's that. Now you got great, absolute cinema, and then in the other direction, I mean, it's literally just the opposite. Okay, now let's go with Sakamoto Days. I gotta say, I have some mixed feelings about this chapter. I really do. This might actually be an absolute cinema chapter. I'm a fan of Nagumo, okay? I know if you're not a fan of Nagumo, this chapter absolutely fucking sucks. Let me explain to you, I just feel like Suzuki doesn't really know what he's doing with Nagumo at this point. What is Nagumo's character arc? What is really his purpose in the story at this stage? And there's just no way he's gonna get the kill on the two main villains here. Like that, well, if he did, it would be pretty despicable, evil ass writing, which makes me believe Nagumo is gonna get the Sakamoto Days bullshit special next week, probably some tunnel effect shit, and die somehow. That's been my going theory. I think I said last week I don't believe Nagumo is gonna survive this. I think if a character is gonna die, it's gonna be right here. But other than that, you know, this just felt like a classic Sakamoto Days chapter, and I really enjoyed. We're going to put in absolute cinema. I really did enjoy watching Nagumo give these bums the works, even if it means that he dies next week. Now, Ichi the Witch, I actually read this yesterday. You're going to have to give me a second to recall what the hell happens in this chapter. Right, they're talking about going after Fujimine, and she's with this new magic, and she's trying to acquire him, and he just absolutely hates that bitch, because, you know, he's a real one. Amadoro wants to go try to acquire this magic because a bunch of children were kidnapped or something. She's begging for one more chance, basically. It seems like the main characters are probably going to go with her. I mean, we're obviously not just going to get like an Amadoro solo arc. That would be sort of dumb. It seems like this is our next arc. Amadoro is going to get the kids back. There's this new magic. I know people are saying Komugi is going to acquire this magic because it would be kind of funny. I don't know. I mean, we'll see where it goes. I'm just going to put this in good tier right now. There's really nothing special about this chapter, but I can't really call it bad, right? It's just a good chapter of Ichi the Witch, and that's that. Now, Kinato's magic, I'm just going to put this one down to mid tier, probably. At this stage in Kinato's magic, I feel like there's just so many characters and there's just shit happening, and we didn't really slow down at all between the arcs. I feel like we could have probably used like a slow chapter here. Instead, we're just straight into a bunch of action. They're trying to protect this princess, but you know, we as the readers are given absolutely no reason to care about this princess's fate. As a matter of fact, I don't really feel like we're given a reason to care about anybody's fate in this manga. That's kind of one of the big problems with it. Now let's talk about a manga where we do care about people's fates. I would put this in great tier. I would even consider moving it up to absolute cinema. The work this does for Shuli as a character is absolutely phenomenal, including the bullet necklace at the end. You know, Shuli performing surgery on Haiji, him getting excited after saving somebody. And then, of course, Haiji's character revealing that he saved the anesthesia for the guy who'd been shot in the leg and immediately performing surgery on him. Just the character work in this chapter alone is absolutely incredible. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I'll put this one in absolute cinema because I think I put it in A tier, or the previous A tier last week, so that's where it belongs. Roku's House of Oddities. I enjoyed this one more than Ichi the Witch, and this one I think it's Kabaneji, right? Tries to get a job. It's just a good comedic chapter. We kind of learn a lot more about him, about his past, right? And then everyone else says they're going to work hard. Ultra's going to water the plants or some shit. I thought this was a good chapter, and just because I enjoyed it more than the Ichi one, I think by, you know, process of elimination, it has got to go up here. And by the way, I'm not sure if I said this already, but I am on a new microphone, brand new setup. I've even got like an audio interface and all that fancy shit. So if it doesn't sound good, like it obviously does need some tuning, that's for sure. But definitely let me know down below how the microphone sounds, if it's all right. I've finally gotten rid of the old blue snowball that I had for like 10 years, maybe longer. So we're moving up in the world. Anyway, Akane Banashi. This one went against my expectations here. I would put this in great tier. Akane actually won the duel. All I know is that the Kaisei slander from this is going to be absolutely generational, and I'm here for it because Kaisei is a bum, and I hate that motherfucker. Akane actually wins the God of Death duel somehow. I did not predict at all that this would happen. It seems like Isho is kind of glazing Kaisei off the drop, and then he hits him with the however, and then he just starts glazing Akane, and she wins the duel. I'm like, I feel like there's got to be some sort of catch or setback to this, because this puts Akane really close to her final goal. And I feel like if we're doing this now, if she's beating Kaisei now, there's a chance that this manga's done in the next 100 chapters. That's my current read on the situation. I don't know, it was a great chapter either way. Now let's talk about Drawn to the Fire. This manga has a really big problem. Like a really big problem. First of all, I find with the art style, it is sometimes extremely difficult to tell the difference between the characters at all. That wouldn't be an issue if there were only a few characters, but at this point, in the last couple of chapters, they've basically introduced like 2 new characters every single chapter. So it's unclear who's important, who you need to pay attention to. I don't really care about anybody other than the main 2. We haven't even really been given development for anybody on their team. Like they have a lot of team members that have barely even had speaking roles, but for some reason we're giving development and screen time to like members of the other team, and we don't even know our own team yet. I just feel like this manga is very questionable. It's not, it's probably getting axed, and frankly, I can see why. I've enjoyed it, but I just think the writing choices are extremely questionable, and there are just too many characters now, man. That's my read on Drawn to the Fire. Also, it seems like Kinato will probably be going out the door soon. Now, Animal Signal, this one, I thought this was a really cute chapter, actually. I'd put this in great. Listen, I know I put on the front of a hardcore motherfucker, all right? You know, I like my action manga, I like my gritty stuff, but cute chapters like this, they get me, man. Okay, sue me. They're going on a fake date here. They're trying to, you know, fool the new employee. And I like, one thing I really like at the end is that we actually do get a bit of Tsubasa's like emotions towards Kokone instead of them just leaving it ambiguous. That made the chapter for me. I thought this chapter was great. What can I say? Kind of makes me excited to read Someone Hurts, but I'm not going to get to that until after Hunter x Hunter, because I got to jump on the hype train for the views, you know what I mean? Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. Now, Hal Formula, I'm just going to put this at good, because I think the great chapter is going to be next week, or maybe even S tier. But this chapter was good. We see the kind of fruits of Harukaze's training. We're finally on the course. Next chapter, we're going to actually see the race. And most people say, I even say, because next chapter will make volume 1 for this. So if the older brother is going to die, it's going to happen next week. This is like the most popular theory about this manga. I don't know. I don't know if I buy it fully. I don't know if I buy it. And I would actually, maybe I'd move this up to great. We'll put it ahead of Ichi at the very least. I did kind of like this one more than Ichi. I'm excited to see the race next week. Now let's talk about Canon Master. I've had a history of shitting on this one. We got the main guy, whose name I cannot remember, is having a fight with some other dude who is of little importance. We kind of get a turnaround here. Earlier, the Master is depicted as kind of weak, but he just absolutely mollywops this dude in front of like a whole crowd. It's escaping awful tier this week, because I actually thought the choreography in this fight was really good. I'm going to put this at the top of mid tier, and I'll tell you why it remains in mid tier. It's because why is Yer explaining every single beat of this fight? Okay, this is something I complained about in like the first couple of chapters. I think the biggest problem with Canon Master is that the author has never heard the phrase show don't tell in his entire fucking life. Never once. I don't think anybody has ever said that to this man, because this manga, it just tells you everything. It tells you everything you're supposed to think. It even tells you everything that's going on in a fight scene instead of just trusting the reader's intelligence. And that shit pisses me off. It pisses me off so badly. Please just show us what's going on. Not everything needs to be explained. Trust that the readers have an IQ of at least 100 and can, understand what you're writing. And I think so long as this goes on, this manga just straight up does not have a future. I also don't really get the pivot from the master being weak to now he's like absolutely whooping some like high tier. I don't know. Hero Destroyerz. Hero Destroyerz also escapes awful tier this week. I thought this was a really good chapter. I don't know. I thought this was a really good chapter. I thought it was really funny. I thought all the characters had good moments, and I just thought it was generally entertaining. I actually, on the last few weeks, I've been on record saying that I got bored reading it. I was not bored reading it this week. So good job, Hero Destroyerz. This is actually the first chapter I have ranked as good in the entire series so far, since I've started reviewing it when we came back to this series a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I don't know. Good job. Good job. You did good. Now let's talk about Nippon Sangoku. Misumi finally got the opportunity to... Oh, let's not do that. Finally got the opportunity to show his stuff. Yeah, let's go. Everybody doubts him. But he aura farms on them. I would put this at great. I'd probably put it just below Akane for the week. There does not exist a chapter of Nippon Sangoku that is not at least in great tier, in my opinion. Just because so much shit happens in the chapters, right? So much shit going on. It's just always consistently entertaining. So Misumi's sending Sune to the front line. We all know, obviously, it's going to turn out well for him because this is literally his first act as a strategist. So he's obviously not going to fumble. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see where it goes. Now, let's talk about Mad. It was Mad Monday. I think in terms of like Mad chapters, this one is completely average. It was good. It was an enjoyable read. I'd put it at the top of good tier. We got, actually, I'd move it up to great just because of kind of like the development for John and Ponyo here. They definitely got something going on there. I don't think we're going to see it till later. I am also afraid that the development in this chapter means that Ponyo is about to get bodied, which is going to be very unfortunate to say the least, but frankly, I don't know. I don't really see her surviving. I don't think it's possible. I think there's a real possibility that this chapter is designed to like make us feel worse when she dies. But other than that, yeah, it was a pretty good chapter. It's a Mad chapter. They go on a cool little adventure, and it seems like the next chapter is going to be better than this one. They're going to go into the alien nest, and it looks like we're going to throw down. And I have a feeling that John and Ponyo are going to encounter something terrifying that they didn't expect that's going to flip the script on everybody. And Ponyo probably not making it out. Let's talk about Centuria. Centuria is without a doubt in absolute cinema tier. I'd actually give this the top ranking this week. We get an absolutely tragic backstory of the lady with the accursed countenance. Basically how all these people blinded themselves just to serve under her. Lucas remorselessly takes her out, but they actually get a pretty good moment there where he's the first person ever to be able to see her actual face, and that kind of warms her heart and kind of completes her before she dies. And then of course her older sister shows up, speed blitzes Lucas, cuts his arm off. I think there's a chance Lucas dies here, but I've said that I feel like there's kind of a bit more to his character. I can't really see it happening. I feel like they're going to squeak out the victory here, especially since Julian's on his way over. And we all know that when Julian shows up, okay, it's nuts to butts, okay, fist to face. This lady is not going to fare very well. I do wonder what happened to Lawawag. She obviously couldn't kill her, as was established a couple chapters ago. But either way, yeah, I'm really excited to read more of this next week. It is heating up. And that's going to be all for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comment down below any manga you want me to add onto the list other than stuff in Shonen Jump if you have any ideas. And yeah, that's going to be all from me. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.